Hey guys, this is day 2 of trading the funded account challenge and doing it with you every step of the way. And obviously in these videos, I'm going to be showing you the mistakes that I make, where I can improve, the wins, the losses. It doesn't matter because I'm going to be showing you each step, right? So today we took a Euro USD trade, and essentially the first and foremost thing, as I always say in my videos, is we need to identify flows. Now, if we look at flows clearly on Euro USD, we can clearly see that price is very much bullish, but what we need to keep in mind is we're heading up to this key level over here on the top left. It's 1.17372. So we've got to keep an eye out for that level because it's a major key price and a lot of rejection can come off it. We can see a bounce to the downside. There's just a lot that can happen. It's just those psychological levels that you've got to keep in mind of, right? Especially when we are looking for bullish momentum. So again, we can clearly see we've got a beautiful overnight high break, and if we look at stats on Edgefield, we're sitting at about 85% for the green candle day, right? The data's in our favor, so of course we're going to be looking for buys, right? So essentially, as we can see, price is obviously extended. Now we want to see a pullback either on the 5 or the 10, right, into our level with EMA aligning, right? So essentially, let's just see how price played out. We can see a further extension to the top side, a nice little pullback coming all the way down to that 5-minute EMA. Essentially, that's not where we got positioned yet, okay? So we were just waiting for that 10 o'clock candle to open. So then we got a bit of a surge back up, pulling back down into that level, right? Back down into that key level. We had our supply over here, right? We had a demand area chilling over here. So this is essentially where we got positioned. We had some small size on when this position opened, right? Extending to the highs there, which is around about, we were aiming for at least a 2R on this position, right? So we entered our small little size on. Our price played off that 5-minute EMA beautifully. So again, now we've got stats in our favor. We have price breaking above overnight high. Not only that, if we had to go take a look at what DXY was doing, right, we can see DXY is also playing off overnight high, which is exactly what we're looking for in the day-to-day market. So essentially, we want to see a crack of 5-minute below this level and then see that continuations to the downside, right? So we've got it our position. We're running quite nicely. We have our trade in. We want to see exactly where this is running. So we've got a beautiful crack above, right? And essentially, we took a little bit of size off here at this point, this high. We took a little bit of size off, wasn't much, and then waiting to see that extension. But now this is why it's so important to learn how to manage positions correctly. So essentially what we could have done was we obviously put our stop losses a little bit tighter, right? Especially after we got that crack. But then we want to see exactly where price is going to run and how it's going to pull back. We need to keep in mind that 11 o'clock is a new 4-hour candle open. So when a new 4-hour candle opens, it usually wants to create its bearish wick before the bullish momentum. So if we go look at how price started to surge back down, we actually got tagged out at 0.5% risk over here, right? Because we put our stops here. We didn't want to see that extension come down too far. We kind of wanted to see price surge a little bit down and then bounce higher at an early stage of the 4-hour open. And we actually got tagged quite early within our position. So we only made a 0.5% profit today, which is all right. Again, when it comes to trading and trading funded accounts, not every trade's going to hit profit. Not every trade's going to go exactly to where you want to, even though you got this massive momentum going to your direction. There can be slight pullbacks, and that's why it's important where trading comes with experience. And ideally, as I said, we were buying up to that key level on the far left there, and we can clearly see that it's almost rejecting off that area, as well as it's a new monthly candle open, it's a new week candle open. There's a lot of volatility in the market. It can be bouncing up and down. So essentially, we saw that rotation from the top side. It didn't hold on that 5, nor did it hold on the 15. And it actually kind of just dumped quite heavily, and we got tagged out for 0.5% for today, which is not a bad thing at all. Just want to show you where price, let's say we were managing the trade a little bit better. Okay, so let's say we were in this position and we were still managing it of the 5-minute EMA, which is okay. 10 to 1, that's what people do. Okay, that's what we teach our students. But as I said, with these red flags that are happening with Euro USD buying up to the highs, we see price surging far down on the 15-minute. that's essentially the bearish momentum I don't necessarily want to see when we are looking into terms of correction, right? So we saw a surge, it's holding above 5-minute EMA, but then actually drops below, and we would have tapped out at break even instead of at least taking a 0.5% profit for the day. So we were surging quite nicely. I'll even show the little video. We were surging quite nicely. We were at 1.5% profit, but again, I was aiming for 2% risk. At 2% profit for the trade idea. So I'm not going to cut my trade early for no absolute reason. So we hit 0.5% risk for the day, which is perfectly fine. It's just one idea for the new month. It's second day of the challenge. I mean, we're up, what's that? We're up 3.5% already for 2 trading days that we've already seen opportunities in. It would have been nice to see maybe a 4.5% for the day, but again, we weren't one early, as that's a lot of areas where traders can actually see themselves costing their money, cutting profits too early, because remember, we're risking 1% per idea, right? So if we had to, take a win and take the 1.5%, essentially the next trade idea we lose, we're still down 1%, maybe up 0.5% already. So, it's not always working out in the long term. We need to cut profits minimum at 2%. We can cut a little bit, shedding off some of the pie at the top and the highs as we run into the position, as it was not necessarily 2%, it was maybe 2.2% on the trade idea. So that's why we cut a little bit of size after we breached that high there. So again, it's just really important to manage your position correctly. You don't always have to take a full loss. You can actually manage it by putting stop loss just in profit. At least try and take a 0.5%, especially if we've got a nice surge like that, especially when you're holding a position. Try and take a 0.5% profit, but you've got to give the trade room to breathe. Otherwise, you are going to cost yourself money. So this was day 2 of trading the funded account. We did do this live with our students. Some students got in a little bit tighter around about here off this level, right? And they actually hit their 2% profit once price actually reached this level. We're doing this live with our students every single morning. They know exactly why we took this position. They know exactly how to manage it correctly as well. Luckily, the guys that were in a bit earlier hit that 2% profit. I got in a little bit later as I was waiting for a bit more confirmation. But again, our guys are confident enough to take their own positions either way, because we're teaching them the right thing from the beginning. So, and I mean, we can even see Euro USD is just failing to break these highs and continue to surge up, even if we were holding. DXY kind of pulling back into this area, the overnight low the whole time. So we're not really seeing that momentum that we're looking for, especially after London session opens, and it's about 1 o'clock now. So that's day 2 of trading the funded account. Stay close to this journey. Make sure to subscribe and click that like button. I'm going to continue to this, show you each step that you can do to try and pass funded accounts, each step on where, even as a professional trader, there are mistakes that we can make. And what I could have done is maybe taken the 1.5%, but again, as I said, I was trying to run for that 2% profit overall, as we are so close to hitting that profit target. So let's see what happens in the next few days. Super keen, super excited to see and show you exactly how I'm passing funded accounts, how I'm managing funded accounts, and then rediversify that into stocks and crypto portfolios. And just to give you a little brief rundown of what's actually going on, I mean, if we look at the crypto market currently, BTC has dropped quite substantially over the past few days, and a lot of people tend to stay away from markets like this when actually this is at discount. As traders, we need to buy at discount. So essentially, I'm going to be looking for some positions on BTC, ETH, a bit of Solana, as everything looks like it can potentially surge to the top side. I mean, that's going to be great potential gains for the future. So essentially, we like to buy in not at full price, but as it starts to surge a little bit lower, we start buying in at smaller prices when we get into our area. So ideally, I'm looking at anywhere between 106 to about 102 if price does surge a little bit lower. If we can see BTC crack above 1010 or 111, $111,000, we'll start to maybe look to get some size onto crypto and BTC as our crypto side of portfolio. And then just give you another brief rundown of exactly what I'm looking in terms of stocks. We've had some massive plays currently sitting on Nvidia, Tesla, Google, Shopify, Microsoft, Amazon. We've got on a lot of positions into these sectors and into the stocks areas with our students. I mean, just to give you an example of what Nvidia is doing, I mean, we hit already a 71% gain from our position on Nvidia, which is absolutely insane. I mean, what bank is going to give you 71% over we entered on April 2025. I mean, that's a few months now that we already see that massive surge and great percentage growth. So it's always good to learn how to not just make profits off your trading, but then how to diversify it into stocks and cryptos so that you can build a long-term portfolio for yourself as well, as that's the way how a trading business model actually works. But yeah, day 2, let's see what happens for the next few days. Peace out.